And good morning and welcome to Touch Base Daily. My name is Ron Foster and I'm here to touch base with you as I always do every single day, except for Sunday. I hope everyone is enjoying their wonderful Friday. It is Focus Friday, and I know we're going to do something that I didn't think. I said, you know what, maybe we should talk about it, maybe we shouldn't. But because I was indulged in it, so Focus Friday is going to be a little change for today. We also going to have our wonderful Alieze one later on. But we are going to talk about this Shay and Monique interview. We're going to talk about that. And the reason why is because I am curious how many of you have seen it. I am curious of how many of you, what is your response? What do you think of the interview? I have never seen a 3-hour interview of anyone. And this was a 3-hour interview. And a lot of nuggets. I learned so much about Monique, and I was like, wow, who knew? Who knew all the stuff that went on behind the scenes? And I have to say, I admit to hearing some of the negative stuff about her and all the things that people said about her. She was hard to, work with and yada, yada, yada. And I said, I am like, wow, and we in the public, we fall for a lot of this stuff because a lot of us just don't know better, or we just simply just go with what the news flow is. And man, it was enlightening. I spent the whole 3 hours yesterday looking at the video, and man, I got so much out of it. So many things I could talk about today. And I was like, you know what? I can't just let this pass, especially when everyone else is talking about it. And I am curious about what you guys think about it. So we are going to be talking Monique, Shay, and the Monique interview. But we also want to talk some politics, just some quick ones. But I'm going to let on my wonderful host. There she is. There she is. Alieze is on. Yes, we got Alieze in the building.
Hey,
And how you doing, my dear?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
It's good, 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 good. So good to have you on as a co-host today. A co-host. This is like my first time having. I had Dr. Tachi on yesterday as a co-host,
Yeah.
and because Chris Edwards is on location, he is on a project right now, so he's working, and so he couldn't be here yesterday and today. So he says, "Well," I said, "Well, maybe it's a good time to start having some guests, like to fill in, like they do on TV."
Yes, Chris is booked and busy.
So good morning, guys. Let's say some good mornings in the building. I see Chrissy is saying good morning. Good morning.
Good
Brian
morning.
creators. And Rashawn says good morning and happy Friday, Ron and RLP family. And who else is in the building? There's a couple of folks in the building. Hey, Omar is in the building. He decided to come over to the Instagram. No, I should say he
Not
left Instagram to come
to
to
the YouTube
YouTube.
girl.
There we go. And if you are on Instagram, come on over to YouTube. Just go to Touch Base Daily. You can just put in the search engine and it will come up because we what they call it? We are trending in the SEO, the search engine. So which is great. We have been on enough times that people will know what we are in Touch Base Daily. So that's a good thing because you couldn't do that in Instagram. No, you couldn't just go to Instagram and look it up and find us. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And I see Lisa's in the building. She's saying good morning to Chrissy, and she says good morning to everyone. Good morning, Rashawn. She's sending her good mornings. Hey, Kimmy is in the building. She says hi, everyone. So good to see everyone here. So there is one subject, and I know Lisa's
Good
gonna
morning,
love this.
everyone. Yes.
So at least before I get started, how are you
Uh-huh.
doing today?
Oh, I'm doing great today.
And
Today,
what's new in your world?
what's new in my world? My world is probably not that different. Like art and politics is usually what I'm looking at. Went to an art event last night, a local art event for one of the artists that I have like 3 of her pieces. She and her husband started doing some projects together. So I went to see their opening last night,
Oh
which
my.
was great. Yeah.
Elise, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
How many art pieces do you have in your home of like all these artists? Because you are a real art collector. How many art pieces do you have, and do you rotate the art that's on your wall? Because you have, I'm presuming you have a lot of art.
So I haven't rotated any yet. And I said that because I told my husband I still have one more floor to put artwork on.
Okay, okay.
And I was actually laughing last night because I have a stack of artwork that has to be installed. I probably have maybe over 10 pieces that have to still be installed. So I would say
Wow.
for my collection, I think I may lie, but I think it's less than 100 right now. I think.
Whoo! Did you just
I
say
think.
100?
Yeah, I think it's less than 100. I
A
think
little less, a
I
little
can't
less
swear
than
to that
100.
because I have some stuff in some closets that I need to pull out.
Oh man, you are. I mean, I knew you were a collector, but you are a like real collector.
Yeah, and it's a combination of prints and originals.
Gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
limited edition prints. I have some limited
Wow.
edition prints. Yeah.
Holy moly. I mean, what type of art is your favorite art?
I probably would say
You
my
gravitate to?
favorite is activism art.
Mm.
That's my favorite. I have my collection is very eclectic though. It has some that are just like the ones behind me. They're not really activism, but
Mm-hmm.
they're just nice and beautiful pieces. Um, all of it right now is, of course, African American living artists
Mm-hmm.
that are around, and definitely activism art is probably my favorite genre right now.
Wow.
And I actually, I'll share one of those artists with you all today, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
actually going to interview next week on IG.
Okay, nice. Well, guys, come on over if you're in the IG area. I see some IG folks in
Hi,
there,
Lisa.
like Jamel Shabazz is in there, Judy B92038 is in the building, Jane Kind is in the building, Shook is in the building, Hickson Hats is in the building, Hannah's in the building, Eagle Eye. Hey, Eagle Eye, what's going on? Long time no see. And so come on over to our YouTube channel. We are on YouTube, and that is on Touch Base Daily, or you can go to my channel, which is Ron Lewis Photos.
Yeah.
Guys, also, I just want to share. Yesterday, I had the most amazing photo shoot with one of the actors from Law and Order. And I just posted the reel from some of the shots that we took before I came on here. It was absolutely, you know what? It's amazing. I have so much fun. And when I'm photographing someone that is enjoying what they do, like, he's an actor, he's a model, and so when we first started out, and I just said, this is where we're gonna pose, this is where we're gonna shoot. He immediately got his stuff, put him to the side, and instantly went into position. It was just like bomb, bomb, bomb. I mean, it is when someone knows their craft, because actors and models, they have to know their right side. And what I mean by right side, they know which angles look best on them when they are being photographed. So they have
Right.
years of training and years of experience of knowing if they tilt their head slightly this way, they're gonna get your best shot. If they tilt this way, they're gonna have their best shot. And it was absolutely a great photo shoot. I had so much fun. I could have stayed there all morning if I didn't have to rush home to you guys. But it was absolutely amazing, and the photos came out so well. And I'm glad, because he'll have these for his portfolio, for all his stuff that he used it to send to, I guess, agents, and how it is in the industry. But that photo shoot was absolutely incredible. Should I share a little bit of it?
Absolutely. I think I was just looking at it. And I love while you're
Let
looking
me
at
let me see
while
what
you
I'm
ready to
gonna
share.
bring on this. Let me
Yeah.
see if I can bring this up on my screen.
Yes.
But it's let me see if I can get to my page here. you know, sometimes when I'm on Instagram, it gets a little crazy, so it might kick me off, but
Oh no,
hopefully
I
not.
hope not. Then I
Hopefully not. Hopefully
yeah.
not. We're gonna just see if I can go to my page here, and there we go. There's my home, and I'm gonna just share the. I'm just gonna share the reel that I shared with
Okay.
everybody, so you'll see the reel. Hopefully, there we go. Let's reload. Is it gonna work? Instagram is cooperating today.
It's
It's
cooperating.
cooperating. Okay, so here we go. Let me just share this. Let me present this to you guys. And I had so much fun. What an awesome actor. But you know, he looks so hard as a person, but he is absolutely the nicest person. We've been communicating for years, and we finally got this photo shoot done. And so this is some of the shots that I put out there um, for just the people to see, just a glimpse of the photos that we took. And here it'll start from the beginning. And but yeah, um, Antino is his name. So with just so you know that. Antino Crawley.
Okay.
So, but excellent for. I mean, we had a good time, as you can tell, and just a lot of fun. I love my job. He says, "Man," he looked at you know, we were talking, we had a conversation, and he was like, "Man, you really love what you do." I
Right.
said, "Absolutely." I said, "I get the greatest honor to capture people in their, you know, how they want me to capture them." And so it was absolutely beautiful. Great time with him. Finally meeting him in person. Like I said, we've been talking back and forth online for years, and but finally got a chance to photograph him, and I thought it was awesome.
Right. And
So just
the way you feel about what you do, the art that you do is really what attracts me to artists, right? Is
mm-hmm,
that first thing I'm attracted to is when I see how much they love what they're doing, because you can tell when they're doing it if
mm-hmm,
they really love what they're doing or if they're just churning out things. And
yeah.
just meeting people with that kind of energy and the love and passion that you share about your photography, that's what to me makes great artists, is that they're so passionate about whatever they do and they're into it at that moment.
There were moments in the shoot, like you know, I have the you know the lighting in this area that we were shooting in Dumbo. I always do a lot of my shoots in Dumbo because it's such an amazing place to photograph my clients. And because the different scenes, the different lighting, different time of day, it just keeps changing. So I could shoot 100 photos of 100 different clients, and they're all going to be different because the area just has it offers so much. And so we were there, and I'm a very emotional photographer. So when I get a shot, I go, "Oh, yes, yes!" And then
Passionate.
I run over to him and said, "We got this one. We got this one." And he was like, "I love your energy." I was like, "This is how I roll. I love what I do." And we had so much fun. We were just, it was again, it was a beautiful time together. And I was like, "Man," and when I got home, I was like, "Shoot, I forgot to get a selfie."
All that excitement.
All that excitement. I got no selfie.
You'll get it next time. Look, the next time I come up, then we're gonna have to do a photo shoot. I'm gonna have to do a real one,
Oh,
right?
yes, let me know. Let me know. But it was absolutely wonderful. So here's some topics for today that's
Yeah.
happening in the news. Just SCOTUS Trump ballot case.
Yeah.
I got my girl Alieze here, so we talk politics. We know politics. But I think SCOTUS. For those who don't know who SCOTUS is, it is the Supreme Court of the United States. So I think the court is going to side with Trump on this one. What do you think, Alieze?
Well, because of the ones that he has there,
Mm-hmm.
I, a part of me is hoping somebody drifts off, a couple of people drift off. But we start with like Clarence Thomas has refused to recuse himself.
Yes.
Which is, if most people don't know, for January 6th, when that occurred, his wife financed some of the buses that brought people here.
Yeah.
His wife also, after all of that, was still saying Biden wasn't a legitimate president.
Yeah.
And there's no way he can say that they don't talk about that. We know they do.
And husbands and wives do talk.
And her benefactor for a lot of this stuff is the same guy, the same billionaire that's been funding his family and giving him, letting him use his private planes. So in a normal world, and outside of that, because they're the only ones that can say they have to be recused. They can't. No one can tell a Supreme Court justice to step down to not vote on a case. So he has to be the one that makes a decision. He's decided he's not going to do that. And so, but this is the same gentleman who bought the house that his mother lived in. All that. This is he also funds his wife. And so all of this is part of that, but he doesn't want to step down. And of course, he probably doesn't want to do that because he's afraid that if some of the ones on that some of the, 6, if 2 of the 6 drifts off, that's not going to be good. So he's probably he wants to stay there to ensure that, because I would think that unless it's a challenge, and I'm trying to remember this challenge was after someone kind of put it on hold. From Colorado, or this is the actual.
And it was a Republican woman that brought it to that was her lawsuit against. She's a real hardcore Republican.
Right.
She served in many chambers, many offices within government in Colorado, and this is her case. I listened to some of, because I'm a geek. So I listened to some of the Supreme Court justice as they were live on yesterday, and it was quite interesting as they broke down. None of them mentioned and talked about the insurrection. They did not talk about the insurrection at all. But what they did bring insight on, and I thought I was pretty like, okay, maybe I need to reevaluate on some levels. They started to talk about how the 14th Amendment in the 3rd clause and that whole section of having state right, they were taking away state rights so that no state could rise up again. Because remember, it was South Carolina that was the beginning of the secession.
Secession, right?
So, and the language, and they broke down the language of the amendment, and it was quite fascinating about the things that they were bringing up in regards to that these case that they Ketanji Brown. She said she felt that this was also states. They were not giving states rights, but they were taking states' rights slightly away so that they would not do an insurrection or any rising up, or that any one state would affect the whole country. So it was quite fascinating. Check it out if you can hear some of the SCOTUS, what do you want to call it? The repeat cases, the recording is absolutely fascinating. If you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're interested in constitutional law and the Constitution itself. But they did break it down. And I have to say, I think they're going to unanimously say.
So you think the other ones are going to come, the 3?
Oh yeah, I really do believe, based on the theories that they presented in the yesterday's case, I think they're going to side with Trump on this one, that no state has the right to impede upon the whole United States, as in when it comes to elections. So anyway, that was just a thought. Wanted to throw it out there, let you guys know about it.
And so when looking at that, when you look at, that's a state talking about a state, right?
Yes.
So when they say impede on the entire United States, they're not saying this is for the United States. They're saying the state of Colorado, right?
Right.
What's interesting to me, though, what interesting to me is that states' rights is conveniently.
They use it conveniently. Right? Yes.
They use it very conveniently. Because I think the same argument could be used for women's reproductive rights, right? the same argument. So it's
Same
all
argument.
convenient. So even if the other three side with them, then I'm going to look at them and say, you know, who's paying them too?
Yeah. Oh,
I think we have the most compromised Supreme Court ever.
yes. I would agree with you.
Yeah. So I don't know what other people think.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of it. Like I said, if you're interested in constitutional law and learning the Constitution, this is one of those cases, and one is so available to us to be able to listen to it on YouTube and hear the case. And that was I thought it was so rewarding yesterday to be able to hear it. But yeah, so I just wanted to make sure, you know, we can't ever go into all of these in depth because none of us are lawyers, and I'm not a constitutional lawyer or any of that stuff, and I don't play one on TV.
Right. So. But like, even when you look at it, just looking at it from layman's eyes, right, and reading what it says, if you participate in an insurrection,
yes,
you shouldn't be able to do that. So it's interesting to think that they even if Ketanji Brown said that, you're taking it all the way back to your interpretation of what this is. And not just taking it on the language, right?
Yes.
That's the hope. Even if they make a great case for it, it's still interpretation and perspective, right?
It's always interpretation.
And so it's convenient. It's just so convenient for them all, like to say states' rights. So we're going to take away for this, but they can have all the states' rights, which is, if you think about it, the woman's reproductive rights issues impact the whole country as well.
It affects the whole country.
So, you know, to side with that, whatever they do, yeah, you know, get out and vote.
Right, there you go. Brian says no backbone is right there in the Constitution, which baffles me because of the justice who claim to be staunch constitutionalists. And that is a good point, because there are three that are from the Federalist Society.
The Federalist Society,
and they also, you know, trump their no pun intended, their ability to be constitutionalists, and that they take the Constitution word for word. And so this is something, again, Alieze brings up something that's really good, that it's up to interpretation, and it's also interpreted in the time period we are in. So we are in a politically charged climate society. Everything is political. Right. Anything that is put out in the world is always political. And but yeah, so stay tuned to SCOTUS and what's happening with the Trump ballot case. I see Lisa said also, so what happened to states having the right to govern their states, which is, again, like Alieze says, they use it when they can, when it's convenient. So far, it seems to be at their convenience. Yeah. Christy says, Florida affected the whole country in a prior election. Hello, remember Bush v. Gore, right? So yeah, states do have their can make a decision and affect the whole country, and still get away with it, because again, it is up to the SCOTUS that we have at the time that we have them. So, but it is an interesting topic. But Alieze brings up one big point. That's why it's important to what? Everybody vote.
Because, you know, no matter what we do, we know that people are that right now we have a Supreme Court that's not going to do anything that's truly for the people, period.
Yes. And well, they haven't in the last 20, 30 years.
Right. And anything that's the most detrimental to anyone that's female, Black, Hispanic, anyone other than white men, LGBTQ plus, everyone, anything that's anti them, it doesn't matter. They're gonna always make sure that comes through. But anything that's for, you know, time after time with Trump, that's the thing. It's like, a state should have the right to take someone off a ballot if that's what if they deem them not fit. And as interpreted, if you just on face value look at that 14th Amendment,
and you read
14th Amendment, they're using to tear up everything else in the world. Same thing that they use for affirmative action.
It's pretty clear to us, right? Here we are. We're not constitutionalists. We are not lawyers. and it's pretty clear to us. But again, those that like to play in that arena, they will make it they can interpret things the way they want to interpret, and they can make it say what they want to say. I see Lisa says, but I'm confused. Aren't the states trying to take him off? So now they are saying the states don't have the power, but states have the power to ban abortions. See, yep,
Absolutely.
here we go.
Absolutely.
So it works when it works for their favor or their agenda.
Right. They can ban abortions. Well, anything, and people, and I always tell people, like, let's be clear, it's about women's reproductive rights, because it also bans procedures within those policies that help women who have miscarriages, because some of the medications they have to use, women who have other issues, like the woman in Texas, that are life-saving issues. It also bans those things, and in health affirming care for LGBTQ community people. They allow that, but they don't, whenever it's convenient, everything is
always about convenience. Also, and because people don't realize that abortion is women's health care.
Right.
People, and they should be clausing it in that fact. It should be grouped in its health care.
Right.
Because that's what it's about. Because there are many people, like we saw that woman that she almost died. And they wouldn't help her. They would not help her because of the government saying no abortion, and they didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah. And also understand that there are women who have miscarriages, who, because of the type of treatment they use, are also the doctors are appealing to lawyers before they even give them the proper treatment. So they're risking their lives. Their lives are at risk as well. So I think it's when we allow them to control the language.
Mm-hmm.
And narrow it down to one procedure and not understand this is about healthcare, then I think we have to control the language.
Okay, next subject. So we're on it, and then we're gonna go right into our Monique and the Shay interview.
Shay. That name gets me.
Shay.
When I see him and I say his club is Shay.
He don't look like a Shay.
He don't look like a Shay.
So another thing is happening in the news this morning, and it's big in the news. If you haven't heard it yet, is the Biden classified document case. The special counsel report comes back and says, okay, we cannot prosecute Biden because of the documents they found in his house. However, they did a backslap in the report and said he's old. He's old. His cognitive ability is a little slow, and that we can't prosecute him because he'll be on the stand probably saying, I'm just paraphrasing, that he can't remember. And so this makes Biden look bad, and he had a little heated fire back when the press was asking him questions yet last night regards, as they did a press press briefing. And so they had the press corps there, and they were asking all kinds of questions about this ruling with the Biden's classification document case. And obviously, idiot. Oops, no name calling. Trump, Trumpster, Mr. Redman. He also obviously tweeted I won't say tweeted, but on his platform, how that they're letting Biden get away with it when they're after him. Well, one thing we all know the cases, two different cases. One is Biden finds classified documents and says, hey guys, come to the house. I found classified documents in the house. Could you please come and remove them? Now, the other one, the orange man, could you please return the documents? Oh, what documents?
Right.
Oh, I don't have any documents. Oh, we sent all of the documents. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. And then also refuse to send other documents. There are two different cases, two different people. Anyway.
And actually sharing those documents with other people from foreign countries. He was showing them to the people who came to Mar-a-Lago. They were in the bathroom. They were every place. So it's totally two different cases. And the piece, like, what cracked me up was, like, you talk about Biden's memory. Let's talk about Trump's memory. What? Just his memory of who is who right now. And at age, both of them are older. And don't know one's younger. But Biden, it was funny when the guy said, he said, "Oh yeah, my memory must be going because I let you ask a question."
I see Brian says, this is white privilege in real time. The gymnastic contortions they're doing to allow Agent Orange another shot at the White House. If all the President Obama, what would the actions be? Oh, so we get back. That was from the other one. Okay, so we're all caught up. Let me just get that there. But my thing is, it was a backslap, and what the obviously he's a Republican. He's a Republican from the Trump years,
right?
And but they could find no wrong with Biden, but he had to throw that like wrench in there because it is convenient, so they can use that in ads. They can use that on Fox. They can use that where in the opponents and say, see, the council says, Biden has no memory. Biden is old, too old to be a president, too old to run. And I love that. I love that Biden also has some pep in his step yesterday. And he said, wait a minute. You trying to tell me I don't have my memory? And he said, I remember my son's death. They accused him that he didn't remember his son's death.
Right.
And he did make a mistake when it came to the president between Mexico and Egypt. So he just got them a little mixed up. But hello, guys. I am on the doorstep of 60. It's in 2 weeks. Whew. And I will tell you, my memory lapse. I have to think and process. I have to slow down and think. So, and how many of us even younger? I talk to my friends who are younger, and they, I forgot. Oh, I didn't remember that. Oh, I forgot that.
Right.
It's not about age.
I think you mentioned the most important part is the who said it.
Yes.
And what he represents. It's, even if he's this investigator, we have to realize these people aren't, they have sides.
They all have sides.
If he's out there and that's his job, that's part of what he's going to do. He's going to make sure he says something to make this man look bad. Even though, you talk about, Biden's memory, the orange man's memory of between Pelosi and Nikki Haley. Come on. That was just recently.
That was
so.
And along with
there's a lot of memory gaps that he exhibits when he's talking. So I think that's when the people have to really put information out and show those clips when the other man has had memory lapses, and there are lots of real good clips out there for that.
Oh yeah, Lisa says, I walked from upstairs to downstairs and forgot why I went down. And hello. And she's a lot younger than I am, because that happens to me. I go in one room and go to the next one. Now, why did I come in this room?
Look, my 38-year-old daughter told me last week before she left, I said, you were supposed to trim the hair off my neck. She said, oh, I forgot. I said, I just told you yesterday. She said, you don't understand. My memory is bad. She's 38. So it's not even about memory. Memory is not about just age.
It's not about age.
It's not about age. And if that's the case, then tell both of them not to run.
Well, what's interesting to me is that there are several other leaders in the world that are way in their 80s and above. And we have Nancy Pelosi, who is also 80, right? No one's going and chomping at the bit about Nancy Pelosi. There's several of the Congress people that are in Congress that are in their 80s, and so it's never been a problem. And then one thing I will say about America, another dislike, obviously, is that we don't appreciate our seniors, what they bring to the table. Our seniors, I mean, you think about, and I'm just going to the record is the record.
Right.
Biden has done more for this country than any president in the last probably 75 years.
Right.
That's a lot of work. A lot of bills are accomplished. A lot of bills were passed. A lot of infrastructure. A lot of stuff that's happening. Look, we have the best economy in the world. Now, I know everyone doesn't feel it. Lord knows.
Right.
We all know there's some inflation, but we have the lowest inflation compared to the rest of the world. Like my buddy was he was talking to me like, Ron, the gas is so expensive. It's $3.02, something like that. And I said, can I give you a rude awakening?
Yes.
Americans pay the least in gasoline, one of the lowest costs in gasoline than anyone in the world. When
Absolutely.
you are in London, it costs $6 a gallon. When you go to Iceland, it's $8 a gallon. When you go to Germany, it's probably, I think it's like $7 a gallon. We pay the least of all countries. And there are places obviously that pay less, which are in Saudi Arabia, because that's where it's produced.
That's where it's coming from, right?
But think about it. How much does milk, a gallon of milk cost?
Right.
A gallon of milk costs for some folks $3, right?
Right.
So do you think about, you're paying gasoline, the gallon of gasoline is almost equivalent to a gallon of milk.
Right. Absolutely.
And you don't complain when you drink your milk.
Right. That's what people have to realize.
People need to figure it out. It's like they don't realize, but don't travel. Yeah. Most Americans don't travel. Most Americans don't understand what's going on in the world. You have to have about $3.
Have some friends who live in other parts of the world. My friends in the UK are like, this petrol prices.
Yeah, petrol is high.
United States is nothing compared to that. And and it's funny, like I think I mentioned to you before, they complain about the prices when they go up, but nobody talks about the fact that they went down.
Yes.
At one point it was $4 in DC. Now it's not.
Yeah, so now it's down to, I've seen $2.99 on certain days of the week.
Right.
I'm like, folks, could we like really get a grip? I mean, it is more expensive. America is doing great as an economy, low unemployment, the best numbers in history. Even Fox had to say, we got to give the man credit. Even Fox, who hates Democrats, who hate Biden, they had to stop last week and say, you know what? We got to give the man credit. It's a win. It's a win.
And and what he said was, he was talking about, Biden recently was talking about all of the Republicans who want to take credit for all the infrastructure bills that they all voted against.
That's right.
He said, I'm going to be there. Right. I'm going to be there for all the ribbon cutters.
Because they voted against the bills that are going to help them.
Yeah. And helping people understand, when people aren't educated, understanding that when they talk about the stimulus checks, well, that's because the Democrats got that through, and he had no choice but to sign it. But he had no choice but to allow it. He held them and made them later because he wanted his name on them so people could think they came from him. And he actually did not want them.
Yes, right.
But because it came through and the Democrats got it through is why you got it. And I think it's important that people know that. People don't forget what actually happened, because I think that's where we fall short. We pass all this misinformation and disinformation and get people all hyped up about something that's not true. And that's why, if you notice lately, I've been trying to post the numbers as much as possible, trying to encourage people to read.
Don't lie.
Project 2025. I saw a video of a white woman in South Carolina who had gotten prosecuted for the January 6th insurrection and served some time. Older white woman who had her buttons on for her stickers on where she voted. She said her friends challenged her to be on Twitter. She had them on a hat and on her shirt. She said they gave her 2 where she voted for Biden. She said, because this is crazy.
Yeah, it is.
She said she wants people to wake up.
And we one day we're going to have one of these Fridays. We'll focus on, since it's focus, we've now evolved on our Focus Fridays, and talk about subjects that matter. Not only just videos and stuff on IG. But I am Miss Reese says he doesn't brag about his success and he needs to. Absolutely. Amen to that.
I agree.
What's different about the Democrats? They do not brag about their accomplishments. Same thing with Obama. Obama never bragged about his accomplishments. You have to brag. Look, Trump does it all the time. He's bragging about lies. He's not even he lies about it. He's still bragging. He said, "Oh, the economy is great because of him. It's lagging because of him." Anyway, let's finally get to what I want to definitely talk about. And this is, I couldn't have a better person on here than my beautiful Alieze to talk about this wonderful subject. Shay and Monique interview. So yesterday, I finally had a chance. I saw clips of it, like the little clips that were on YouTube, but I actually saw the full version, which is 3 hours long. So while I was editing these photos for my, for this project I was doing, I was listening to the Shay and Monique interview. And man, I mean, first of all, how many of you have watched the Shay Monique interview in its entirety? Not the clips, the 3-hour interview. First of all, I have never, only on YouTube could there be a 3-hour interview. That's what makes YouTube unique.
Look, I have not watched the 3-hour interview.
Oh my goodness, 3 hours. And do you know that video is now trending? Oh, let me go there now. Last night was up to 7 million views. 7 million views last night. Let me see here. Let's see what it is today.
Bryson watched it. It's like
it is now. I'm sorry. It is. Oh, it is still 6. Oh, so it's trending. It's not moving as fast. It's not 7 million. It's 6.5 million, which is crazy. Oh no, sorry. I'm my bad. It is 58 million views.
Wow. People like drama.
58 million views.
People like drama.
People love drama.
Yeah, between her and Cat Williams, they love this.
Oh, well, let me tell you, Cat. So, I mean, I watched the Cat interview, but I didn't watch it in its entirety. But last night, because after you finish watching the Monique video, automatically the Cat video came up. So I'm just editing photos to like 2:00 in the morning, which I probably should have been in bed. But I was so excited about this project, and then I was listening to all the crap. I should say crap, but the gossip on this YouTube. But I had to say, I learned a whole lot about Monique. I learned a whole lot. I learned about her husband. I learned about Oprah. I learned about Tyler Perry. Woo! I mean,
and I think Lee
Daniels.
I think they kind of had a conversation to
yes.
some things out.
Whoa, it was incredible. So let me see who in here. Let me see who in here has seen the video. First of all,
several of them said they've seen it.
No, only clip, says Kimmy Kim. Rashawn says no, not yet. I only saw clips, says Terry. Bryson says it was 6.5 million viewers. Yes, we got that one, but now it's up to 58 million. The video I was watching. I'm sorry, my bad. 58 million is the Cat Williams. My bad. It is 6.5 on Monique.
Okay.
Yeah, Cat Williams is 58 million, which is a whole lot. Shoot, that's a lot of viewing. Holy moly!
They want
Cat. Says the Cat Williams interview was about 3 hours as well, and was over 50 million views. Yes, that's what I meant to say. So Cat is 58 million, and Monique is at 6.5 at the moment.
Right,
but.
You have to scroll up to see who watched it. Chris, Bryson, Kelly, Jasmine watched the entire interview. Lisa saw the clips. Trish said, definitely not.
I just said, definitely not.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So I'm curious if you're in the audience, and obviously you're in the audience, and you've seen it, or you've even seen some of the clips. But the clips are cool, but to really understand the context, you really do have to see the 3 hours.
So Ryan, let me ask you a question. What's the most interesting thing that you learned?
The one thing I learned is don't believe the hype. What Monique said about we as a community, and I was talking to Gwendolyn about it. I said, it's not just our community, it's all communities,
All
as
communities.
Americans, and I think as a human species, we don't like to hear the truth. We don't literally, I mean, we say we want the truth, but people that tell the truth, we don't give them a great reception. And so listening to how she was, blackballed based on lies, Tyler Perry, she even made a recording. I
Mm.
mean, she recorded Tyler Perry admitting his lie and what he did. But then yet still, Tyler Perry was not going to, he has not yet supported, as in, one is, forgive me for what I did. Two, I'm going to compensate you for the loss that I caused you and your family. But it goes to show you, though, when people speak up, you always see this in Hollywood, or the person that speaks up in the office, they kill the messenger.
All the time.
And don't go with the message. The message is that guy, it was talking about Weinstein, and
Harvey.
how everyone that talked about Weinstein got axed, killed
Right.
off the set, killed off the movie. And then, but then they found out it was true.
Right.
It was true. He was doing all that he was doing. And so what I learned is that we as human beings, in general, we say we want truth and honesty, but like the movie says, you can't handle the truth.
Well, Ron, a part of it is that even like if you look at the Weinstein case, you had people want to hear more than one person say it, right?
Yes.
That she said it, but who else is saying it?
Yes.
There are all of these events that are happening, like you look at the sexual harassment stuff that's going on. Once other people started saying things like, "Oh man, wait a minute," then maybe this must be true. And I think that that's the problem. Is like when that one person is out there, they say it, and that's the one that usually gets beat up on. It's the first one that says it.
Here's on Jasmine says, "It's funny how people dismiss Monique because she talks about what happened to her out loud, but they never have anything to say about the people that do her wrong out of public view." When she was breaking down her relationship with Oprah, her relationship with Tyler Perry, and all these different people, I mean, and to her credit, she still, even in her sharing her truth, she didn't really bash them. Like, it was no defamation of character. She was telling the truth.
Right.
She had, and like a cat says, and like most of the people that tell their truth, she has the receipts to prove it. It wasn't like she just speaking out into the wind. She literally had the recording of the man admitting. It's like Shay was saying. He goes, "I wouldn't have probably believed it until I heard it," and because she let him hear the tape. People say they want the truth, but they don't really want it. I know. I always know. I growing up, I always remember that girl or that guy that were the truth tellers in the neighborhood. People gave them a bad rap.
Absolutely.
But they were telling the truth. Don't kill the messenger.
And that happens so often. And out there in the in the industry, all these people are trying to keep their money, right? So they do whatever to you, to discredit you, even when you're telling the truth, so that they keep their money. And that's what happens there. My daughter is funny. She's hilarious to me. She said, "Mom, there are no nice billionaires."
No,
she said they're not nice.
You got to do a lot of
trying to stay billionaires. So they'll do whatever it takes to stay up there and trying to, and she said it she talked early on about the money, them not being compensated properly for their work. She said it, years ago. And people were like, "Oh, she's just," most of the time they say, "Oh, she's been a prima donna." That's all they say. They'll make you seem negative. And, especially if it's a Black woman, you're loud and you're wrong.
Black women get a bad rap.
Everywhere. Like
And
Malcolm
women
X
in
said it
general,
best.
but Black women do get I mean, think about it's the same, but it's the same playbook that's used over and over again. For instance, a Black person sees a crime like George Floyd.
Right.
The girl that saw it, she taped it, she filmed it, she videotaped it. They went after her family. They went after and said she did this, her brother did that. They always try to assassinate verbally
Right.
the truth sayer, the
Right.
person that's telling the truth, the person that's captured on tape. They try to assassinate. It's what we call it, character assassination.
Yeah.
The police department does it all the time. As soon as you say something against the police, they go after your character.
Yeah.
Here, Chrissy says, I saw it and it was illuminating. Monique had receipts. She had TP on tape admitting that he lied and started a rumor about her being difficult that ultimately cost her millions in income loss. He's the one. And I know, because I have some friends that are in the
industry.
And that's all people talked about. I believe them. Because I heard it, but it was the rumor.
Right, absolutely. Because I mean,
she was difficult. No one wants to work with her because she's difficult. But when you hear her speak, she's difficult. Why? Every single time when you heard her speak about her difficulty was because she was trying to help the person that's coming behind her.
Right.
She wanted to make sure that other Black actresses did not go what she was going through.
Yeah. And she said she has that video where she confronted Steve Harvey on his show.
Yeah.
About how with him not coming and having her back. And I think that I think she's one of those people that if they said they wanted to sit down with her, she'd sit down with them.
Oh, she said she would. That conversation. She said to Shay, you could bring Oprah on and I will come back. I will sit down with Oprah and Tyler and sit down and have a conversation right here with you. One thing I had to sit down and say, wow. And then I had to check myself and say, wow, I believe the lie.
Of course.
Like everyone else did. She's difficult. She's hard to work with. No one wants to work with her. Yada, yada, yada. But here it is.
Right.
On tape.
And
that Tyler Perry admitted that he started the rumor purposely.
That's how you can be so easily. People can destroy you so easily by just starting one thing. It's like the school, like one person say something about you and it spreads throughout the whole school. The next thing you know, you find out that these horrible things are being said about you that's not true. And I think that's the problem we have. We so want to be voyeurs into other people's lives that we're willing to believe all of this negative stuff because we're attracted to drama. I don't watch reality shows. I don't watch any reality shows because of the whole drama.
Neither do I.
They want, and I look at it this way, how they pit us against each other for destruction. And I'm not willing to go through and try to destroy anyone. I don't want to watch that. That's not entertainment to me. And so I think that's a big part of what you so want to hear the negative, that you don't even know that there's probably another side to this story.
There we go. Kimmy Kim says this. His side, their side, and the truth. Always blurred. Like my dad used to tell us growing up, don't put all your bags in one side of the story. There's their side, that side, and in between is the truth.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah. And that's what you need is like, there's a Black movie with something in there like that. But I think that's the thing is like, if they're in the same room, and having the conversation, that's the conversation I want to hear. Even if this 3-hour interview, I need to see the people. If I want to be interested in anything, I want them to be in the room, have a conversation face to face, so we can hear where their side differ and where that side differ. But we can
and then you can put it all together
in there someplace. That's the only way you're gonna get to the truth.
Somewhere you're gonna find the truth. I see here, Jasmine says, Yep, when Heidi Cohn called out Harvey Weinstein for how he treated her, she lost her host job on Project Runway and created the show. And she created the show.
And she created the show.
I mean, it's people go after the honest broker, the one that's telling the truth, saying, guys, let's listen, beware of this. So they shoot the messenger.
So we're gonna come back to our conversation from the other day. So this is a what? This is a caste system.
Yeah.
So the ones at the top get all the protection.
Yes.
The ones down here that are doing this work, that's keeping the ones at the top.
Yeah.
Can be destroyed. Because their job is to stay on top. You got to always remember, everybody that has reached this certain position in life wants to stay on top.
Bryson says
we are guilty of buying into it because we believe them because they're on the top.
Yeah. Bryson says, or the R. Kelly case situation on kidnapping girls and brainwashing them, girls not letting them eat. I mean, people were telling about R. Kelly, but no one believed.
Right.
No one believed.
Because those girls and their parents were at the bottom. They weren't on the, he was on the top.
Yeah. Oh, I just thought it was fascinating. And I was like, I said, I definitely got to find out who has seen this video. But it definitely helped me to check some things on how I see the world. You know, because I always say when I see stuff like that, I try to figure out how can I learn about myself as I'm listening to this information.
Yeah,
that's what I'm processing, and how do I grow? I know that sounds corny, but that's how my brain works. I'm like, I'm watching this 3-hour video. How am I learning? What am I going to learn from this 3 hours? Because I don't believe in wasting my hours. My time is too important. But it was, I went through some of the checklists on my, one of the things I also thought about is I love the fact how she was very honest about the stuff about her life. But what's really cool was watching her really embracing the love of her husband. And I thought, I just thought that was so beautiful. It was like she was able to say, look, this guy came into my life and changed my life. My husband is my everything. You know, I mean, at least you could have done it, because you've been married. How long you been married?
48 years.
48 years. You've been married 48 years. And we had this discussion about your husband a little bit.
Yes.
And what he means to you and everything. But it was just beautiful. And she was saying, you know, because he's her manager, but I didn't know he was a friend, that they were friends years. They grew up together, and all the other things that happened way before they even thought about romantically being involved. I mean, it was just, you really got to understand who Monique was. By the end of that video, you walked away saying, you know what? I may not agree with everything this woman talking about. I may not agree with her philosophies on a lot of things, or whatever the case may be. But one thing I did walk away with is I learned about this person that won a Grammy. Sorry, not a Grammy, an Oscar. An Oscar winner. One of the few Black Oscar winners. And what she went through in Hollywood. And even though she had that Oscar, because the power of rumors that were conjured up, she did not get the movie she should have gotten after winning that Oscar.
Right. Because the people that she challenged were the people in power, the people who could hire other actors and the actresses. And then, you know, I think that when you look at it, it also teaches us about how we judge people without knowing the facts too. How we're so quick to say, "Oh, that's true," and we haven't even heard another side. We just took what they said, and that's the part that I work on a lot. Is like trying not to judge people based on someone else's perspective.
Yes. It humbled me. It humbled me. I was like, Ron, when you on this live, be very careful what you say about people.
Right.
Even though I'm always thinking that way. But it reminded me that everything you say, you can't, and also really, really filter what's being said. Do your homework on what's being said so that way you don't continue lies.
Right. Absolutely.
Right? Here's Chrissy says to Lisa Seeley, it really makes me angry that someone can lie and derail another person's career because they wanted her to work for free. Isn't that crazy?
They do it all the time.
You got all this money. You, Oprah and Tyler Perry are billionaires. Billionaires. And it's and the sad thing about our society is that, like your daughter said, we know people have done some junk to become a billionaire.
Yeah.
Unless they inherited it, they did some. And if they inherited it, their family did some junk.
Oh, absolutely. And I've been reading I finished reading the book All About Love by Bell Hooks.
Ugh.
And she has a chapter in there on greed. And when I read that chapter, I was like, wait a minute, let me go revisit my life. Let me figure out how I'm living. Where do I demonstrate that acquiring things or being greedy about something is causing me to not be the kind of person I should be to people?
Yes.
And sometimes that's what it is, because, it's that mentality of I'm never going to go back there. Not necessarily that I want to bring everyone up to where I am.
Mm-hmm.
Because I still, at the end of the day, people on the top want to stay people on the top.
Yes.
That's our whole issue in our country right now. They want to stay on the top. They don't want to ever have to really suffer from anything. And so
you know what's crazy, Alieze, as you say that, is what's even more amazing is that the people on the bottom love propping up the people on the top.
Right.
The people that, for lack of a better word, piss on them, the people that destroy them, torture them, take their benefits, take the food out of their mouths, they love those people. And yet, so something terribly wrong with humanity. Because it's not just an American case. It's not just a black case or a white case. It's everywhere around the world. Humans love to put someone on a pedestal and worship them.
Right. And
Human beings do it.
Yeah, and we have to look at why is that the case? Why do we do that? What do we get out of it? And what do we get out of tearing each other down? Understanding that we are all in the same bucket. We're all there. And like I said, the biggest thing is about watching man's inhumanity to man.
Yeah.
And discovering where you are guilty. Like you said, watching that listening to that 3-hour interview, you had to sit back and say, oh man, I was guilty of that.
Yeah.
I did some of that.
I did it. I was like, oh yeah, I said, how many times I mentioned, if I happen to have a conversation, because Lord knows I don't have that many conversations about people in Hollywood, but if I heard, I remember in the past hearing that Monique was difficult, and I passed that information on to someone else. Right. Oh, they say she's difficult. I don't know her personally, so I can't say I know she's difficult. But again, her career, her life, her family's, her livelihood was affected by a lie. And Derek says, and Derek is from this industry. He's from the film industry. They labeled you difficult because you say no and stand up for yourself when you feel you're being shafted. It's the truth. Whenever think about us, think about all of us who have talked to our bosses and saying, you know what, I think I deserve a raise. I think I deserve a promotion. And how we've gone to them and they've shot it down.
Right.
And or there was an incident that was happening at your job.
Right.
And you brought awareness to it.
Right.
and then they went after you because you brought the awareness.
Right. Or that you come to them with that I should get a raise, but you can do more. But I'm doing 3 people's jobs now.
Yes.
Because you asked me to do these, and I'm still doing these things, and that's a problem that people have. And one of the things I used to tell teachers as an administrator about students, because they'll say, "Oh, so Joe, he was so bad. He did so much, and all the teachers told me about him from the 6th grade." I said, "Well, what I want you to do is judge them on what you see in the room." I said, because if you prejudge them and walk through the room, your relationship is not going to be good. And so you have people who judge children the same way that you're talking about judging adults. And I'm really looking at how Taraji is going to be treated. Now, you see all of the love that Oprah has made sure she shows out there. But how is she going to be treated as she moves on into her career, as far as getting more roles, and her compensation for those roles? How are they going to receive her?
She turned some tables. She did a Jesus move. She turned some tables over in the temple. Right. She turned some tables over. Chrissy says, "I'm not attracted to drama, but I will discuss when people are being mistreated, especially as it relates to Black people not being fairly treated and compensated." I think about I used to be on I used to have what I call internships. I work for an organization. Not I work for them. I would get an intern from this agency here in New York City. I think it's called Exalt. And what they would do is they take kids that are high school students that could go to jail for the things that they've done. Mm-hmm. But instead of sending them to jail, they put them in what's called an internship, and then business owners or young business owners or solopreneurs hire, and they can come work for them and do different tasks as for your business. And it was their way to also get those kids back on the right track. And so I would go to some of the awards, like I was invited to 2 or 3 awards, and when at the end because they train them, and then they graduate. And I will never forget this one particular young person. She was labeled, I think she was in the junior high school as a difficult child.
Right.
And that was put on her record. It was put on her record, and it followed her all through junior high school.
Absolutely.
It may have been when she was in elementary school.
Right.
And it went through junior high school.
All the way to high school.
And then high school. And so every time someone saw her file, it had in it difficult.
Right.
And they treated, and all she did was that when she was in, it was elementary school. I think it was, elementary school. She defended herself in elementary school. Mm-hmm. This girl was torturing her every single day, and she finally stood up, and she got into an altercation with the girl, and they had a fight, and the girl, both of them got suspended. She got suspended. Not only did she got not only suspended, she got expelled.
Oh wow.
She got expelled, and she walked. I mean, this is a kid. She's a child. Yes. And she had the scarlet red, the scarlet marking, the scarlet letter on her life. And so when she got into junior high school, they had already painted her as difficult when she finally got to school. And so she said, well, if this is what they think of me, I'm going to be it.
Be that. Right. Right.
Because I'm not getting any leeway being the nice girl.
Right.
And so she said, I'm going to act it out. She did it.
Absolutely.
And she got into crime in high school.
Right.
Because she had already conditioned, because she had the marker that someone put in her file, difficult child.
Right. And no one ever took and you know, I've seen that so many times, but no one ever
Woo!
took that time to sit down and talk to her. Like I would talk to my kids. If they said they were difficult, they come to my office and I find out what was causing it. I had a student come in one time and I was teaching. He came in, he was crying, he hit the wall, and they were like, they came and got me out of my classroom because we had a relationship. And I said, what's going on? And he explained once I got him stopped crying, he explained to me what happened. But their reaction, you know, you've had kids come through the door, had a bad time, and they're going through some stuff, but people judge them based on those records, and those records follow them throughout their entire educational career. That's how people treat them when, oh, Lord, I have Ron coming to my class. It says this about him. Yeah. Instead of saying, I'm going to find out how Ron and I can relate to each other.
So I know we're a little over time, but I was like, so if there's anything that I got out of this, this whole 3-hour conversation, I mean, the 3-hour thing on Shay and Monique, man, a lie can ruin someone's life. And we know that.
Absolutely.
That girl, and I'll never forget, I mean, she graduated the class. She's a beautiful woman now, but she told her story. And I was like, I didn't even know that. I knew that I had an inkling that they put stuff in our files when we're kids.
Oh, yeah, they do.
I had an inkling, but you're the teacher in the room.
They write it.
And so some kids will always be marked by those words. And let's say you got a bad teacher that was a racist teacher. Like I had one in high school.
Seen it.
I had one that was really didn't like black people. And he made it known he didn't like black people. And
I worked with them.
I'll never forget. I went from in math. I'm really good at math. And so in this school class, I would normally get like 99s, 100. The lowest I would do in school is like an 85 or 90. That's my report card.
Right.
This guy gave me a 45.
Yeah.
A 45. I came home. I sat on my kitchen table and cried. I cried like I never in my life had a 45. And my mother said, you just have to go back there and prove him wrong.
Absolutely.
But again, you could have a bad teacher that just doesn't like you and put that writing put that lie into your records.
Yeah.
How many kids have that happened to? And now they're in prison.
I had it happen with students when I was, like I said, I was at a middle school as an administrator, and the students were going to, but we have some application high schools here. And the teachers would say, no, you're going to take that out because that's not true. And then send it, you try to get into some of our top high schools. You're not going to leave that in there. I need you to take that out. Or I call the principal or the counselors myself and talk to them and let them know it's not true. So, and it helped one young man get into the school he wanted to get into. But on the issue of Monique, this is and any other female, a black woman in the industry. The one thing that always comes to my mind when I think about black women, period, and what we go through and how we can be treated is Malcolm X. When he said the most disrespected and unprotected person in America is the black woman. And I thought that was interesting coming from considering who he was and where he was. But he said that was the case. And thinking about now, where are the black men in the industry? What do they have to say about what Monique and Taraji are saying?
Because it happens.
Have they come out and
what's his name? Kat did bring it up.
The salaries.
Well, Kat brought it up in his interview. He said,
I'm not just talking about Kat. I'm talking about the acting industry.
Yeah.
Where have you heard them come out to defend these women?
Yeah.
I haven't seen the black men come out and say, she's telling the truth.
Yeah.
And that because you still are the most disrespected and unprotected person in America is a black woman.
Always.
But we're always the ones saving the country.
Speak. I see here in the room people are talking about Monique's husband. Well, guys, I would say I don't think he's an opportunist. I think you just pretty much should see the video and go on the rumors. I think now I will definitely double check. Unless you, first of all, the old saying is, unless you in someone's actually hear someone be disrespectful or absolutely see someone do it, you don't pass the rumor. Don't continue the rumor. Stop the rumors in their tracks. Like when someone says, such and such is a bad husband. You don't know. You don't
Right.
know. You're not in their house. You're not in their room. You don't know who he is to her. Stop the rumors about people. We have
even when they
to.
say they're great, Ron, you don't know the truth.
Yeah.
You don't know what that person going through in that house. You say,
You
oh,
don't
they
know.
look good outside the house. You don't know what life is inside the house. And Lisa, I saw your comment. I hate that happened to your son, because that's the one thing we have to advocate for our children, to make sure they don't label our children.
Yes.
Because our children make up, especially African-American males, make up the largest percentage of students in special education. And it's not because they have learning disabilities. It actually is because people don't know they don't take the time to treat them the way they need to be treated in the school systems. And so it's never because they don't know. I've had some brilliant students labeled special education, and I've advocated for them to, as an administrator, advocated for those young men, especially, to get out of those systems, and brilliant students. But they were forced into special education. So you have to advocate for that. But Lisa, I'm sorry that happened to your son, because that happens too often in school systems.
It happens a lot.
Yes.
Again, that's why there's so many Black men incarcerated, because there's so many teachers that have done them in because the kid may have not been interested. How about this? The teacher is boring. The teacher is boring, can't teach.
A lot of cases.
And the kid's like, I want to learn, but this teacher does not. He's just not doing it for me.
Right. There are only two in classes. I tell teachers that you have children who are, when they act out, they're bored or they're struggling with something.
Yeah.
And if they're bored, they'll tear your room up. They would destroy your
room.
Room.
I mean, I used to get labeled, I talk too much. Well, here I am.
Look, it's never talking too much.
My teacher would say, oh, he's a daydreamer, and he's always talking to all the students. I mean, I was always a social person. I don't know where it comes from, because my father is. Yeah, my father is. Yeah. Let me get ready to close out of here. I just want to go through some of these. Jasmine says, I worked in a preschool, and there was a 3-year-old that people labeled difficult because they couldn't control him. I kept him close to me and found out he was the smartest little boy in his room. Can I say something very personal?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you something personal.
Yes.
My son is not my blood son.
Mm-hmm.
He's my adopted son.
Okay.
And I say that because it's not by paper. I helped raise him when he was 9 years old, or when he was younger. And he was a difficult kid. And people were pretty much going to throw him away. They were like, oh, that kid. And I was the director of that youth ministry, or the youth organization. And I'll never forget, everyone was saying, this kid is difficult. This kid, why is he always in trouble? This kid's always in trouble. Blah, 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 blah. And I got this impression to say, it's easy to throw away kids. It's easy to say, oh, you can't come back. You can't come back. Go somewhere else. But instead, I took him under my wing and help raise him. He had no father. Mm-hmm. And so I became his dad.
Right.
I told him how to fly a kite, how to go hiking, compete, talk, share, on Wall Street, get him a job, all these things.
All right.
I'm his dad.
Yes.
And to this day, I'm his pops. He just says pop. We don't say, I just keep it so people know. But I raised him, and he's an amazing guy. And his wife tells me all the time, thank you. She calls me Ronaldus. Thank you, Ronaldus, for raising the best husband I could have ever dreamed of.
That's beautiful.
And I sit there, and I remember when he was 13 years old, people were like, this kid, my family was like, Ron, why are you dealing with this kid? He's so bad. He says, no, he's not. He just needs attention.
Yes, that's all
He
it was.
just needs direction.
And he didn't know how to express what he
And he
needed.
didn't know how.
Right.
And he, I mean, he's the only son I have, really, that I will ever have, because it ain't happening no time now. And I raised him. And when it is all over, right? You know, this is what I work for. And I mean, but the thing is, we cannot throw people away.
Oh, absolutely
We
not.
cannot throw people away. And it don't matter how old they are, we can't throw people away. We can't say because they're bad. There's usually something happening.
Absolutely. There's always something happening with kids.
There's
Always.
something happening when it comes, especially when it comes to kids. There's something going on.
Absolutely.
It is up to us as adults to find out what it is. Shape and redirect young people.
Yeah. I have to tell you all, share you all a story about me. I know Lisa was talking about her son, and we talk about how people label special education. But when I was in the 9th grade, I moved from Tuskegee to East Cleveland, Ohio. When I went there, they put me in all special, what they call their remedial classes. They put me in all remedial classes, all of them. I was in Tuskegee prepared for algebra and everything else. But they, for some reason, I guess because I was Southern, they put me in these classes. In the first month, every teacher I had went to the principal to have them take me out of their class because they said, she doesn't belong here. But because they prejudged me, not based on facts, not even based on my school records, because the only thing I ever failed was PE, and that's a long story. But anyway, in 8th grade, it was a vision. It was actually a vision that I would die on the trampoline, and I refused. But anyway, but once I got there, what was fortunate for me was that I had teachers who advocated for me to get out of that class. My mother never came to the school to advocate for me, but those teachers advocated for me, and they took me out and put in those classes, but not based on, they didn't have any facts, but they labeled me. And that's what happens to so many of our children. And at least and that, I'm glad you did what you did for your son, because once you get them in the system, it's hard to get those labels off. Once you let them label your child special ed, put them in special education and put that label, because that record follows them all the way to college. It's hard to get those labels off of students when they don't deserve to be on there. And you have to
protect them.
drive them crazy.
You have to protect. Anyway, guys, this was real. We had a good conversation. I hope that our Shay Monique conversation led to something positive. But I always say, let's really be conscious of not spreading rumors, not continuing rumors. There are some people out there that are just out to get other people. There are people that are out there with their own motives. One of my friends, there's a person on another place talking nasty about her.
Right.
You have to let it go. Let go. These people are not worth. They're not worth a rebuttal. They're just negative, and we cannot feed the negativity.
Right.
We cannot feed. Right? They say, Ron, you always come on. You're positive. You know why?
Right.
Because I don't have time to deal with foolishness. Drama. I told someone the other day, they laughed at me, and I said, the only drama I want in my life is the drama I see on the big screen.
Right, right.
That's it. I don't like drama. I run from it. Right. And I will challenge anyone in this audience or this community that when someone says something bad about someone else, whether it be an entertainer or whatever, unless you see legitimate proof that this thing has happened, or this person, know this person physically, you talk to them. I always say people are not your friends unless you have their telephone number in your phone. Right? They may think that person is your friend, but definitely challenge yourself. I have to challenge myself every day. Ron, where are you going with this information? Where are you going with this information? Right. Is this information going to uplift? Is this information going to encourage? Right. Is this information going to build up?
Right.
If it doesn't do it, let it die with you. Let it die. Let it die at your, as they say, your threshold. When someone comes with you with dirt and crap about someone else, let it die at your feet. Just like let it fall and say, I don't want to hear it.
And you have to remember the old saying, a dog that'll bring a bone will take one.
Ooh.
So just like they talk about someone else, I guarantee you they're talking about you someplace. So you don't know what they're saying about you, because the goal of so many people is that they shine brighter than you. I don't want to shine brighter than anyone else. I think everyone in this chat, everyone I come in contact shines just as brightly as I do. And we have to help each other. We have to keep each other there. But that's the truth. That's what happens to people. Yeah. You know, and we have to make sure we reflect on us inwardly to know that we're not trying to suppress or oppress someone or to harm someone. And that's why I was like, I may post something that says, if I ever did or said anything to harm you, I apologize, because sometimes I don't know what that is. And but it's the truth. If they're bringing you information, they're trying to find something to take back.
That's right. That's right. They are always on a mission. That's what they do. So guys, again, I just want to say thank you for tuning in. I love you guys. I love this community. And you know me, I'm just going to tell you the truth from where I stand. And I am not here to, you know, it's just, we have to do better. We have to do better as a community. I'm just saying, as the Black community, we have to do better in supporting our people, but it's supporting them in the truth, not going off on people because they don't agree with our agenda, or we don't want to hear the truth. The truth hurts sometimes, but guess what? I rather bleed from the truth than die from a lie. So, guys, hang in there. Be there for one another. When someone tells you something bad about someone else, throw it away. Don't just go like, as they say back in the day, give them the hand.
Just tell them I don't want to hear it. Like,
thank you, Alieze, for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you. I'm so glad you were part of our conversation today, and yet you were co-hosting today. You did it. I mean, guys, first of all, if you like this video, hit the likes. If you are new here, hit the subscribe, and then hit the bell for the notifications. But if you enjoyed this conversation, could you hit the likes? But also, could you let us know? Could you give Alieze a round of applause? Could you guys put some hand claps for our wonderful Alieze for really sharing in this conversation and give us some great perspective? I think we all learned something today. And
thank you, Ron. Thank you, because you keep the conversation going, and your positive spirit is something that we definitely have to keep having in the world. We have to stay positive. We can't go the other way. And I think, just keep your light shining.
Keep your light shine. The world is dark, but if each one of us lights up, wherever we are, we take the light.
Yes.
Okay, guys, on that note, I will see you tomorrow. We're going to do our Saturday Vibe tomorrow. And also, what else is going on? I will be at the museum today. I was trying to go yesterday, did not go, but I am leaving here. I should be at the museum at 3:00 today to check out the Spike Lee. This is last week of his exhibition there. So come on out to the Spike Lee exhibition at the Brooklyn Museum here in Brooklyn, New York. If you're in New York City, come on out to that.
Right.
Also, what else?
They have the Alicia Keys and the Giants.
They already have it set up. It opens up this weekend.
Starts tomorrow.
Yes, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Called Giants. Our Jamel Shabazz, who's a part of our community, is also in it. His work is in that as well. His work has been everywhere. I mean, I'm so happy for him, and just what he's getting his flowers. He's getting his flowers, and people are celebrating him. It's so good to see that. And look at all the love. You know how I'm going to put on our outro, and I'm going to let you guys kind of like chat it up for a little bit as you guys say hello to each other, exchange information, get to know one another, connect with each other, wish any, whatever you want to do, but I won't just cut it off. It will be streaming, but the music will be going, and you guys can just say hello to each other and get to know each other. Alieze, thank you so much for joining me again, and I'm out of here. Guys, thank you so much and have a wonderful day.